Hello and welcome back to another episode of World of Warcraft Hardcore. My name is Syken and today we're continuing the World of Warcraft Hardcore series on the official service of Stitches. I grinded a little bit with Syken Burns, mainly to get these things here, the large venom secs, so an entire level I just grinded spiders. Why did I do that? Number one, because I need those for raiding purpose. AQ 40 in particular has a lot of poison inducing monsters. There is one particular potion that doesn't share a cooldown with any other potion, and you're just chucking that through in order to remove pretty nasty poison that ticks for a couple thousand per tick. Just to get rid of that immediately. Now, unfortunately, one dose of said potion costs a rare ingredient, those large spider secs, and that's why they go for 2 gold pieces each. So I figured instead of paying a lot of money, I'll just farm them. Farmed around 15 of them in levels worth of killing enemies. And that's really a win-win situation in my book, because I got some experience out of it and got stuff for the raid. Now, that on the other hand wasn't as exciting to stream, so I just did it behind the scenes. Also grabbed world buffs. As you can see, I'm fully world buffed, and we're now in Duskwood. More precisely, we're starting off at the cemetery, where there are quite a few interesting quests. Number one, we need to kill a lot of these horrors. We also need to kill a couple of spiders, and on top of that, we will need to kill a couple of ghouls. So it's one of those quests where you just need to rampage through all of the enemies. And with the buffed Sharnak, I can...
That's still recharging.
Very much go and take these guys down. Additionally, there is one particular mob that I already pre-marked. He's called, I think, Larnak, who is a level 35 elite. So we don't want to get hit by him or called out. Which means why we are going to evade as much as possible. On top of which, since I'm still in the level range of grinding spiders, there are a couple of spots in here where there are spiders. One is actually this graveyard, so I'll be pulling every single spider that we can find. But there is also a spot kind of more towards that middle section of the entrance here, where there are quite a few spiders really that we can farm, and I will be continuing to farm spiders, plenty of spiders, because I want more of these secs. I could do it with a level 60 of course, but listen, if I can combine two things, a little bit of leveling and 2 spiders, that is not too bad. Morladin, that's the name of the guy here. Dangerous fella. Besides Stitches, who is kind of roaming this street here, up and down, up and down. Morladin is the other big threat in this area. Yeah, as you can see, in terms of rotation, not much has changed. We're still rocking with our wand, which is super good. Just from a damage perspective, the wand makes up for around... these guys die too fast, but it makes up for around 50% of the damage. Maybe a little bit less now, since I do have stronger dots.
I'm out of range.
But it is still very much one of the go-tos, specifically against green enemies that are effectively already dead after you started dotting them. Yeah, 40%. Good. I will fast forward a little bit, because this is just really grinding through all of it. But as you can see, we have like 0 downtime. The Warlock is just super good. It getting rid of enemies. These carrions are no joke. They do have a paralyzing poison for a while. So I think 5 seconds paralyzing poison. If they are on a clothy, they can deal some serious damage. Good. Fast forward for you. Alright, we moved on a little bit to the ghoul section of the graveyard. Lowest ghouls are 24, but we do have some even leveled ghouls here. Same ordeal, I'm just staying at the very edges of the fence mostly. At one point I pulled 3 ghouls. Lesson out of this is make sure that you don't. But that 3-on-1 was going in my favor.
That's still recharging.
Voidwalker is just too good. Very solid pet. I saw online when I was reading through people's opinion about Warlock. I saw online that there were a couple of haters of the Voidwalker because it is just too linear to always single pull. They rather pull 2 and chain fear each of them because then 2 rows of dots are ticking. And whilst I have a bit of a sympathy for that, it's a I think false equivalency in my perspective, because the reality is that at some point something goes wrong and then you're sitting down and needing to drink afterwards or needing to disengage, not even accounting for the fact that you might get into serious trouble and die. But even if everything runs smooth, fear just tends to pull others, even if you curse off recklessness in order to break it from time to time. Just a lot of mana that you're using in order to juggle not to pull aggro, and that creates downtime. And I would potentially argue that on an equal pound-to-pound comparison, just single pulling and continuously doing that without a break in between, as opposed to double pulling, accounting for the F-ups that are happening and there, you would potentially end up in the give and take similar ballpark figure. And then it comes down to risk appetite, and the risk in single pulls clearly much less. So that I don't see that much of an upside, to be entirely honest. Oh, that was not clever.
It's too far
Very
away.
far
That
in.
spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet.
Nah, go here, take that horror. And now we have a
That's
triple
still
pull.
recharging. I can't cast that yet.
The tapping, I'll tap, made it worse because I've gotten the wrong enemy. Luckily, the dots at this point are so strong that
That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging.
just by dotting the enemy up and then health funneling, we're keeping the Voidwalker alive. Unless, of course, the paralyzing poison hits. But yeah, even then, that's how a triple pull looks like. And to be fair, I don't want triple pulls the entire time. Let's heal up. And continue our journey.
I can't cast that yet.
Good. So, spiders are done. The only thing that we need is skeletal fiends. And we're almost done with these guys as well. To be fair, instead of just waiting
That's still
and
recharging.
pre-selecting where the fiends are, I'm just killing everything in sight, and the fiends will eventually happen as well. What are we going to do after we're done here? There's another
I
fiend.
need to get closer. That spell isn't ready yet.
This time pulling it a little bit closer to us. Cool. So what we're doing afterwards is a couple of werewolves, Worgen to be precise. That might be a really interesting quest line. And there's, I'm sure, a follow-up quest for all of the fiends that we're slaying here as well. Because Sven, down here, who's the quest giver, has an entire quest chain around them. The Weathering Grave, that's a little bit too high for us at the moment, so we're not going to engage with that. It's also a very difficult quest.
I can't pass that yet. That spell isn't ready yet.
Good. So next up, Worgen. Let me just finish the last fiend here, and then we're off to the werewolf. Oh boy, on our way to the Worgens, I discovered that there are quite a few spiders here as well, and all of them drop the same poison sex, so I think I'm not going to just grind them, but I will kill all of them that are in the way. It's a compromise to not immediately go back to grinding.
I can't pass that yet.
But yeah, I need a lot of these large venom sacks. Unfortunately, they are only a 10% drop rate. So when I farmed 15, that meant that's even lower. I think 7% drop rate. Yep, there we got one. When I farmed
Still recharging. I can't pass
15, that meant effectively that I killed at least 150, maybe 200 spiders. So very repetitive, but actually decent experience. Each of them here 120 experience, and I need to go through the woods anyway, so it's not a waste of moving. Currently trying to hand in Sven's quest, and at the same time clear the woods from all of these spiders. So we're going to do that for a while. Whilst tending in Sven. When Sven is done, I think we need to go back to Darkshire, and I could do that even before doing the Worgens, because our inventory is overflowing as per the usual. And our grinding of the spiders certainly doesn't make it any better.
That's still recharging.
Lovely place to farm these. And the reason why I'm so keen on doing that now in the 20s is because it will soon hit a point in time where these large spider sacks do no longer drop, or these large venom sacks. The next one are giant, I think giant and then huge for the endgame spiders, but all of them unfortunately can't be used. It's kind of the logic of this game, isn't it? That sometimes... Oh, I shouldn't have done that. That sometimes you are requiring something very much in mid mobs that never drops a little bit later. So there is no bigger version of that potion. Speaking of bigger versions, I think it's a good period of time to just eat and drink and fast forward for you guys. Alright, we need to go to the Sven's quest next. We need to get this loser dirt over here. Unfortunately, this is a high spawn area where just a lot of enemies are coming in. It's going to be a dangerous one. If you look at the map, this is kind of the main spot where people are dying. Mainly because of these here, Fire's Night Runners. Backstab ability to sneak. Like I said, it's a highly populated area, although it doesn't necessarily look like it. And if you're running away and these guys have backstab, then you can put one and one together, eh?
I can't pass that yet.
Very good. So our target is, I think, in between here. Let's just get these guys one by one. I played suck as well. They do have movement speed with reducing poison, and that together with the backstabbing is of course a problem. And then we got Defias Enchanter.
That's still recharging. That spell
But
isn't ready
with a
yet.
good old Curse of Tongues, any form of enemy caster is no longer as dangerous as they were before. The guy gets 1 to 2 fireballs off, and that's about it. And see, one of the things that I always do is, of course, I could go in.
That spell isn't ready yet.
And be like, yep, no problem. I'll just move in quicker. But that would not be a smart idea, because typically what that would mean is I am pulling even more. I lost LOS this guy 3 times. We get 1 fireball off. That's okay. Could have LOS'd him a 4th time, but we were okay. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make is it's oftentimes just way more efficient to get everything, pull everything one by one in a control session instead of just running in and then eventually getting an ad and another ad and finding out now you're in trouble.
I need to get closer.
Good, that's the dirt pile we've been looking for. Follow-up quest accepted, which is not here, but basically back to him. But we are going to hit the city really quickly and trade in a few quests. Alrighty, traded in the quests. What do we need? Bronze tube up here.
Can I help you? Be seeing you. Hey.
There
Have
we
a great
go.
day now.
And that advances the quest further. We're already halfway in. I love it just how fast the leveling process
Light be
is
with you. Be
at
careful.
these levels.
Light bless you.
You know what? Let's sell first, then we are doing Bind Merry, and then we're doing the Worgen. Alright, trade in. Merry. Completed both of the quests, and do we need to do Merry's Looking Glass, which is the logical follow-up quest.
That spell isn't ready yet.
And then we got most of the stuff done, short of the Worgen, which we will do next. And I don't even mind if we do have most of the stuff done, because then the next thing to do would be to take care of these little wonderful beings
I can't cast that yet.
that hopefully drop a couple more poison sacks. So rest assured that after this session I'll be grinding maybe half a level to another level with spiders. Getting all of my raid consumables for the next few months, hopefully. Good. We need the insane ghoul, which is inside. Luckily for us, everything else has already been
That's still
cleared.
recharging. I can't cast that yet.
So really this guy is the only thing that we need. And he couldn't get his Curse of Blood off. Don't even want to know what that would have done. Look at the stars and return to Perfect. 2 quests done. I'll return them really quickly, and then we are off to the Worgens. Good. First trade in.
King's honor, friend. For the Alliance, light bless you.
Oh, that quest chain is still not done. I remember there were a couple of really long quest chains. Ogre, Monaco. Well, we can take on a level 30 quest, that's not a problem. We are at the exact right level to
King's
finish
honor,
most,
friend.
if not all, of the
Farewell.
content here.
Go with honor, friend.
Fabulous, and this leads us back to the graveyard where there is a little bit more to do. Alright, next up, Worgens, just like I promised.
I can't cast that yet.
Ah, these guys are using Shadow Balls. Well, in that case,
That spell isn't ready yet.
Curse of Tongue, my friend.
That's still recharging.
This is one of the favorite AoE grinding spots for mages, because the respawn is super fast. For us it means we just need to be careful not to get hyper spawned upon.
It's too far away. I can't cast that yet.
Alright, if he continues using Shadow Balls, that's fine by me. So that is going to take him very, very long to finish all of them. Curse of Tongues is just so good.
That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging.
Good. So, the even level enemies, not really a problem for us.
That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging.
Somehow he likes to cast Shadow Balls on me. I don't appreciate that. Specifically the distance that he can cover with them. I was trying to run out of range, but that didn't really work out very well.
I can't cast
Next
that
time I
That
need
spell isn't
something
ready
to
yet.
line of sight. And he was already Curse of Tongue, so yeah, you can understand why this is another kind of slight death zone, where mages in particular die AoE grinding. It's that time where you finally have
I'm
improved
out of
Blizzard,
range.
and then
That's still recharging. I can't cast that yet.
you're starting with Wargs for the first time. If you isolate them though, they are not too big of a problem. Speaking of isolation, that's the exact opposite of that.
That's still recharging.
Worse.
I can't cast that yet. That's still recharging. I can't cast that yet.
Charnock's taking a lot of damage, need to help him out here. Took aggro on the Shadow Weaver. And we are just funneling a little bit of health.
That spell isn't ready yet.
Okay, good enough for me. That's a solid eating time. There we go. And the cool part about Charnock is Consume Shadows easily refreshes his hit point pool. Done. We have killed all of the Warquins that we needed to. Let's leave this Forsaken place here. We are now turning our attention to a couple of spiders over here. One of my favorite spots. And B, a couple of ogres down there. Which again, should not be a big problem. 30 though is slightly above our pay grade, so we're fighting high yellows, hopefully not orange mobs, because I don't want to do that. And yeah, let's fast forward to the ogres. Good. We arrived at the ogre camp, and to my great pleasure, these guys are starting at 26, so that's not too bad.
I can't pass that yet. That spell isn't ready yet.
So we need to go all the way down. I think that was a cave. That's definitely not the entrance.
I can't pass that yet.
Pretty sure there was a cave entrance, and pretty sure we needed to go indoors in order to get like the ogre moniker.
That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet.
Curse of tongues against these guys is super helpful. Granted, we don't have a third dot, but the damage is so much lower, and when they nuke for 117, that's a good thing. Okay, we want to go inside ASAP. Let's clear outside here, just so that we do have a place to retreat if needed. That's number one mistake that I see in a lot of death compilations. People are just not clearing the environment enough.
That spell isn't ready yet. I can't pass that yet. That's still recharging.
Very good. So now, entrance of the cave. This is where it gets a bit more spicy, because all of a sudden we're entering a cave, and caves produce graves, as they say in hardcore. There's Zazagul, the guy that we need. Unfortunately, world buffs just ran off, which means we're self-buffing. Elixir of Stamina,
I can't use that item yet.
Elixir of Wisdom. Alright, careful here.
I can't pass that yet. That's still recharging.
I'll take my sweet distance. That way the threat that I generate is also a bit lower. This hits for 70. Okay, but still quite heavy. him fully and life drain. Okay, could tank him, elsewise I would have considered fearing. So that worked out rather well. Only a short entrance into the cave, which means we're up to the north, where we need to go to the graveyard next. Plenty to do there. Delivery of a threat, and we need to go back to Sven. Like there's something fishy is going on. I'm not so sure what that is. It looks like that mage has DC'd. Let's help him.
That spell isn't ready yet.
Because if he comes back and has like 3 hit points, that would be an absolute problem. You are welcome. Yeah, it sucks. Disconnects are the worst. And I remember with my paladin that I saved another guy who didn't disconnect, but who unfortunately thought that he logged out when he really didn't. That was on the graveyard though, so these regions, this region in particular, Duskwood, seems to be one where people are regularly disconnecting and dying due to stupidity. At least that's my personal sample of it. Okay. So, let me fast forward until the graveyard, and then we're trading in. Alright, so traded in 1 quest. I think just from a timing perspective, what I would potentially do is we'll trade in Sven's Camps quest. The next one here is level 30, that's the follow-up. We got a couple of quests that need to be traded in Darkshire. That will also lead to a few follow-up quests, I would assume. So general rule of thumb currently is we're at quest level 28, which means it doesn't matter if I just get an additional level. World buffs are due in a bit as well. Not immediately, but it takes a while. And I think in the meantime I'll just farm this section here for spiders. I gotta be careful because in the middle here, that neatly left out area, there's actually a pretty gnarly opponent called Emerus. He's one of the world dragons. I'm not even sure if he's up at this point, but he does have really hardcore spore clouds. Is kind of a skull level type of enemy. So he can spawn there. The other person that can spawn there is Lethan or Lethan, who typically isn't here, but theoretically can spawn there as well. So it's basically just a spawn point for the big dragons. Teria can spawn there as well, I think, which is another world boss. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think the 4th one, Isandra, can spawn there as well. So all of them, and Elantras, can theoretically spawn, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Anyways, point being, these are like level 60 plus elites, so we have absolutely no business in being there. In the meantime, we're just going to kill a few spiders, have fun with that, and wish you all a good day, because that's the end of the episode. Thanks a lot for watching. See you all later in the next episode. Take care and bye bye.